Hello, it's another weekend. Welcome to Week in Review on Trust Television. I am Martia Umar. Happy New Month to you. In case you missed any of our news updates during the week, well, this is another opportunity for you to catch up. And the last week started with a lot of stories, and the first one we'd like to look at this week is the fact that suspended DCP Abuja will remain in detention pending his illicit drug trial as Federal High Court, presided over by Justice Emeka Nwite, refused his bail application. The court held that the NDLEA has placed sufficient evidence before the court enough for it to refuse the bail application. The report.
Abuja is facing charges bordering on deals in illicit drugs. He's already facing extradition to the United States on charges of wire fraud. The second defendant, who is an assistant superintendent of police, is under investigation for money laundering and may face charges on some offences.
We have moved to bail applications in regards to the top defendant, and the court has adjourned for the 27th of April for the ruling. And because the last sitting, we were served a counter affidavit, which of course we responded to. And based on that, we moved our motion today. And the court adjourned for 27. We are hoping that the judge will enroll their requested, grant us 1 out of the 7 cola nuts before the court.
Recall that the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abuja, and the second defendant opted for bail application because of medical conditions. But according to NDLEA, the medical condition of suspended Abuja, it's not beyond its capacity. And on this premises, among other strong cases that was made by the NDLEA against suspended DCP Abuja, his bail application was not granted by the court. And one thing worthy of note is that, yes, we have the NDLEA personnel waiting for the suspended DCP Abuja and other applicants to get out of court, but it seems that they will be handed over to the Nigerian Correctional Service because his prayer to remain under the custody of the NDLEA was not granted by the court. And one thing also worthy of note is the fact that on the 28th of April has been set aside to review the cases of the 6th and 7th defendants who pleaded guilty to the charges.
After the sitting, we waited almost 5 hours for the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police to be handed over to the Nigerian Correctional Service, which eventually happened. Martia Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And another event that occurred during the week was the one people called a Black Monday. And this is what happened. On Monday evening, bandits detonated bombs on the railway of Abuja Karuna train and successfully immobilized the speeding train at a point between Katari and Richana. Passengers were killed and some were abducted. The injured passengers are still receiving treatment in a hospital and were visited by the Vice President, the Governor of Kaduna State, and a whole lot of people. And victims of the bandit attack on the Abuja-Kaduna train continue to share their harrowing experience of a audacious ambush on passengers. At least 26 passengers sustained injuries. 8 dead bodies have been recovered. Our correspondent Fatima Ladin visits St. Gerard Hospital, where victims are responding to treatment. Take a look.
The attack on Abuja-Karuna train on Monday night will remain on the minds of many for a very long time. Fatima is one of the victims of the attack, and the trauma she went through cannot be forgotten easily.
Muna tafiya kawai like 20 minutes to arrive to Kaduna.
We were on the train 20 minutes to arrive in Kaduna. The train started shaking and it drilled from the track and stopped. There was sporadic gunshots from all angles and the security men in the train asked us to lie. So after we laid down, the gunshot persisted. I was in the VIP when the bandits broke the door and we were on our knees with our hands up. They took away some people. There were many very young boys within the ranges of 18, 20 to 22 years. They spoke strange languages. I speak Fulfulde and Hausa, but they spoke very strange languages. Their mode of dressing was unlike Nigerians. The first time we were rushed to the hospital, we got treatment and nobody asked us to pay anything. We got emergency treatment when we came around 1 to 2 a.m. in the morning. We were asked to pay hospital bill. When Deputy Governor came around 7 a.m., she directed that all injured victims should undergo free x-ray, but after she left, we had to pay 5,000 each for the x-ray.
Not many of the victims are fortunate to survive with injury like Fatima. She is discharged to go home, but scars are still in hospital. Whereabouts of several others is still not known, leaving their loved ones in agony and uncertainty. Fatima Salaladan, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And still talking on the train attack, the House of Representatives wants security agencies to put together a task force to check and repel bandits' attacks on the nation's airports and railways. This follows a motion of urgent national importance brought by Nolim Naji at plenary following recent incidents of terrorist attacks on the Abuja, the Kaduna International Airport and the Abuja-Kaduna train within a space of 3 days. The report.
The two incidents occurred within a space of 3 days, and federal lawmakers do not find the development acceptable. Nolim Naji, member representing Nkanu East and West Federal Constituency of Anambra State, while debating the motion said 12 persons were abducted by the terrorists that attacked the Kaduna International Airport on the 25th of March, with one person, a security personnel with the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, reportedly killed. This is despite efforts by the military to repel the attack, noting that if something drastic is not done urgently, it may embolden terrorists to attack more airports in the country.
If it happens in other places, if they start attacking our airports, the implication is that even the international airlines will stop coming to Nigeria. That's the implication, and the premium on our local airlines, the premium on their insurance will increase, will go up, and the implication is that the air tickets will double. Because once the premium on insurance goes up, the air ticket will double. So that's why I'm asking that the leadership should come to our aid to see how we can solve this problem.
Lawmakers, while condemning the act, called for proactive action by security agencies through the setting up of a task force to man the nation's airports and railways.
We must present a very formidable front as a house to ensure that this thing do not happen again. And for it not to happen, somebody, somewhere, must be held responsible. It couldn't have just been ordinary that these people would drive through the city and come and challenge the security of our airports. For me, it is not only reprehensible, Honorable Speaker, sir, but a display of general ineptitude on the part of the security responsible for security in our airport.
Those who used to go to Kaduna by road became challenged because of kidnapping on Abuja-Kaduna road. And then, thank God, the railway came, the train came, Mr. Speaker, and they are being challenged today. Nigerian Railway Corporation had issued a statement that they are going to suspend the activities of the rail along that line. And Mr. Speaker, we were challenged some few days ago for us to have an infraction in the airport, which means that nowhere is safe. So, Mr. Speaker, if our roads are not safe, if our rails are not safe, and if our airport, which is the beginning point of our airways, are not safe, Mr. Speaker, then it calls for us to suspend everything political to begin to address the critical needs of Nigerians.
An amendment on the need to include the incident of the bombing of a train carrying over 970 passengers attacked near Rigasa Station, Kaduna, is also unanimously adopted. Following coordinated attacks on key transportation facilities in Kaduna State, the House of Representatives is inviting security chiefs for an emergency meeting to tackle the menace. Also invited are the Minister of Transportation, Minister of Aviation, and heads of affected agencies.
And in a very sad story, at least 20 people, including women and children, drowned in Guni Zumba village river while fleeing due to an attack by bandits. And the victims escaped when bandits attacked Guni and Gorbaku communities of Munya local government area of Niger State. The incident occurred on Wednesday morning when bandits simultaneously invaded the two communities, forcing the locals to flee. Our correspondent in Niger State, Abuja, reported that at least 14 bodies have been recovered from the Zumbaguni River following the incident. A resident in the area, Michael Madaiki, told Daily Trust correspondent that the bodies of 4 children and 9 women had been recovered while search for the remaining bodies was ongoing. And meanwhile, Governor Abubakar Sani Bello has directed the Niger State Emergency Management Agency to immediately commence a search and rescue operation for the remaining bodies of the victims. The governor, in a statement through his chief press secretary, Mary Noel, described the incident as disturbing and painful and directed the agency to also provide succor for the remaining fleeing villages. And to Kaduna State, where police in Kaduna on Thursday discovered an improvised explosive device along Shanono area of Rigasa community in Igabi local government area of the state. The device was concealed inside rubber bucket and dumped close to a stream by unknown persons on Thursday morning. A resident of the area, Tijani Haruna Shehu, told Trust TV that the rubber bucket was sealed with sellotape, making people nearby suspicious. According to him, there were wires connected into the bucket that was sealed, and hundreds of residents gathered from a near distance to witness how the device was disabled, and no casualties were recorded at the time of filing this report. But the second device was disabled by anti-bomb squad of the state command. Take a look.
When my neighbor came, he said it was a bomb. I picked it and threw it in the gutter, believing that it will not explode in the water.
We were at home when we heard that there was a bomb outside. We all vacated our houses, and later the community informed security agencies. We were so scared, we left our houses for shelter. The security all asked us to leave our houses because it was about to explode.
I was coming at about 9:23 a.m. this morning. I now saw women with children running from the community called Kone Shanono in Regasa area. So I have to stop and ask what is happening. And one woman was narrated to me that they saw bomb in their area. That is why the security personnel asked them to vacate.
And in a shocking development on Friday, residents in Shanono local government again discovered another improvised explosive device, and the device is detected 24 hours after an IED concealed in a bucket was found. You're still watching Week in Review on Trust Television. More updates after the break. Just stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is Week in Review on Trust Television, where we take a look at some of the biggest events that occurred in the past 1 week. And moving on to more news, chieftains of the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, says the emergence of new political movements will change the dynamics of party politics in Nigeria. They spoke at the party's national convention held in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. Our correspondent Shafiu Suleiman was there, and he files in this report.
The party came to limelight recently when some political heavyweights of like minds resolved to forge a strong alliance that could dislodge the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC).
We have three groups: the TNM, the Konkosia, and the NNPP. The TNM is the movement of Nigeria, that is the new Nigeria movement, which comprises of artisans, technocrats, market men and women, and retired generals for the rescue of the soul of Nigeria from the political holocaust. The PDP and APC have put us.
Forget that the PDP is 23 years old, forget that the APC is 8 years old. We have all seen and witnessed their leadership styles. And it is what they did or what they did not do that gave rise to what we have now. That's the new Nigeria People's Party.
An arrowhead of the new political movement and former governor of Kano State, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, hours ago decamped from the main opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, and obtained membership of the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. A move some political analysts say is a bid to explore the strength of his vast followership at the forthcoming election.
So our inability to stay comfortable with PDP or with APC is because they cannot accept ideological politics. They are birds of different feathers. PDP was formed to just take away military from the scene, and APC was formed to take away PDP from the scene.
When you talk of 12 million membership, followership, I mean for Buhari in those years, I can tell you that we have more than such numbers, and time will tell.
But beyond flexing political muscle, his staunch ally, Bibi Farouk, says the motive is to build a political party that is truly people-oriented with strong ideological base that syncs with the vast majority of the downtrodden.
This is the very first time that we are going to effectively change the dynamics of political party politics in Nigeria. We are going to dissolve the thinking that only two parties must dominate every election. Two parties could dominate every election, but it must not be the same parties. Nigerians will have a choice to build other parties, make them significant, make them be able to defeat the ruling party.
Right at the entrance gate of the polo ground here at Gwarimpa in Nigeria's capital Abuja, a venue for the National Convention of the NNPP. A political party just rejuvenated with the entrance of the former governor of Kano State, Dr. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. You can see behind me, the red caps are trooping in. Some will say it's more like an event that, would bring together the red cap movement in Nigeria, talking about the Konkosia movement.
As the new Nigeria People's Party hosts its national convention to elect new leadership after conducting its state and local government congresses, observers say its ability to attract Nigerians across geographical boundaries, ethnic and religious affiliations is critical to its winning elections. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And away from politics, remember that sometimes in the month of March, pay TV service providers did talk about hike in their bouquet prices. Now, the Nigerian Senate has directed all pay TV service providers in the country to immediately review their bouquet prices downwards in tandem with the prevailing economic reality in Nigeria. The Senate also urged Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy and the Nigerian Communications Commission to direct all pay TV providers to introduce a pay-per-view model of subscription as against the monthly prepaid model presently in place.
A major pay TV service provider has come under fire in Nigeria over undue hike in tariff. The upper legislative house kicks against the increase in tariffs by MultiChoice Nigeria. Sponsor of the motion, Senator Abba Moro, said there's public outcry over price increases by pay TV service providers in the country. He recalled that the leading pay TV service provider in Nigeria had in September 2020 sanctioned a 13.3% price increase, a development which is no longer favorable to subscribers because of the present economic situation in the country.
Notes again that among the bitter complaints of Nigerian subscribers of pay TV services is the poor network service experienced as a result of bad weather or epileptic electricity supply, which sometimes make a whole month subscription to go waste without the subscriber watching anything before its expiration. Notes once more that Nigerians are demanding that rather than paying fixed rates for packages monthly, pay TV service providers should introduce a subscription model which allows subscribers to pay per view to enable them watch their TV consumption to subscription, as it is the case with electricity metering and mobile telephony.
A cross-section of the lawmakers are equally in support of the call, saying such hike in bouquet tariff is no longer tenable.
Without considering the service, the quality of service they are providing to Nigerians. The service is poor, their services are poor, they don't give what Nigerians are supposed to have in terms of the service of these entities. Mr. President, another painful aspect of it is this. Because of the nature of electricity we have in this country, which is epileptic, sometimes someone will pay for the service of these TV stations, but lack of light will not allow, lack of electricity will not allow such person to enjoy the service of these television. But yet, once the month gets to the end, that money goes.
There should also be a luxury charge on this DSTV to make sure that, we earn more income, especially that, our budget, has been consistently deficit. We should have another source of income. I so second this motion, and I urge my colleagues to look at it favorably to see how we can protect Nigerians from these, DSTV activities in Nigeria.
After consideration of the motion, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawal, constituted a 7-man ad hoc committee to probe the tariff hike by the pay TV service providers operating in Nigeria.
The chairman is the deputy chief whip, the chairman of the committee. That's distinguished Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi. Members, Senator Suleiman Abdukwari, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, Senator Yusuf, Senator Leko Mustafa, Senator Chukuka Utazi, and Senator Ekon Yakin. And they have 1 month, because we need comprehensive. At the end of the day, we should have all these unnecessary payments that we make to DSTV and others reversed.
And moving on, remember the case of Hanifa, the little girl who was allegedly murdered by her school teacher. So the latest development is that the mother of the little schoolgirl killed by her teacher, Marja Suleiman, testifies before a Kano State High Court in the murder trial of Abdul Malik Tonko. She told the court that a tricycle rider kidnapped the girl on December 4th, 2021, and the rider turned out to be her school proprietor. Marja told the court on February 4th she received a phone call, demanding 6 million naira ransom from someone who later turned out to be Abdul Malik Tonko. Defense counsel Mukhtar Usman told the court that he's not ready to cross-examine her, and the presiding judge, Justice Usman Na'abba, adjourned the case to 12th and 4th April 2022 for cross-examination and commencement of defense.
The mother to the victim came and testified. It was put to a stall when we challenged the tendering of the wordings in the GSM, which was overruled. But notwithstanding, we just felt it would not be out of place if we go into cross-examination without going through the content of the statement made in the GSM communication that transpired between the first defendant and the seventh witness, prosecution witness. That was what transpired today. And the court obliged us the opportunity to come and cross-examine the witness at the next adjourned date, which is slated for the 12th day of April 2022. And if we are opportune also, if they finish their case, we'll close on the 14th day of April 2022.
Why did you refuse?
The issue of cross-examination, there are some things that one has to consider. First, you have to be availed with facilities of the whole case before you even commence trial. But to my dismay, it's very alien to law, where you take the other party, that is the adversary, by surprise. It's not allowed in law. Everything that you want to do must be put to the table so that the person will prepare well, because it involves life. And that's why we felt we are not in the mood to proceed, and the court ruled in our favor and caused for an adjournment. Ordinarily, everything that will go into hearing must be availed the other side, that is the defense counsel. We complained that the other time you could notice they were giving an piecemeal, which is not supposed to be. By the provisions of 36 sub 6B of the 1999 Constitution as amended, it has stressed that every facility, every facility will be furnished to the other side so that they will prepare for their case. But surprisingly, we were taken by surprise. That's why we objected to it, and the court, out of its wisdom, allowed us the opportunity to take another day to cross-examine the seventh PW7 of the prosecution.
And another big event that happened in Abuja last week was the fact that Nigeria failed to qualify for Qatar 2022. And it, sparked a lot of reactions from Nigerians who went en masse to witness the match between Nigeria and Ghana. It ended a 1-1 draw, but the away goal was an advantage for the Ghanaian teams who have booked a ticket in a Qatar 2022. The draws were made on Friday, and this development, Nigerians not getting a ticket to the 2022 World Cup, has warranted or has led to the resignation of the head coach, which is Austin Iguavon, and also the sacking of the technical crew by the NFF. And then that wraps up the week in review for this week. And for more news, connect with us across all our social media platforms. Martia Umar, thank you for joining us.